Here with Cubs first rounder Matt Shaw, who's coming off of just an absurd year. Congratulations on all of the success, man. And I feel like it's got to be pretty surreal for you too, because Cubs fans are buzzing. They're really excited. And then you get the card side of things too, where I know collectors are very excited about it. How was it signing these cards for eBay and Onyx? And how much have you just noticed people are just so jazzed up and excited about your collectibles and just anything to do with Matt Shaw right now?
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Obviously, the card business is kind of taken off, which is good for players, good for fans, good for everybody. So, that side of things is really cool. Chicago being a good market, and we have really great fans, which, very lucky to have that. So the baseball side of things is really exciting. It's been a really exciting last 5 or 6 months. So, just meeting a lot of new faces, but it's been really cool.
Were you ever much of a collector as a kid, or was that something that you like to do?
I collected a little bit. I have some cards definitely still at home, but I never was like a super avid collector.
Do you think you have any gems in there? Any chance you got?
I went through, yeah, and I was like, one of these might be like worth a lot of money. I might have to check that out. So someday I'm gonna have someone come look at them and see what they think.
I've been asking everybody if you could collect one rookie card or prospect card of somebody in your organization, big leagues all the way down, who would it be?
In the Cubs organization, one rookie card. I'd collect Cade's Horton's rookie card. I think you get the rookie card right.
You can get it's like his first.
Yeah. So I would collect that card. Yeah, he's going to be a beast.
Yeah.
Already he's been very successful, so that'd be really cool.
Well, you were on that team as well, where there was just so much talent, especially once you got to the AA level. Like that Tennessee Smokies team was absolutely loaded. But for you, being at Maryland, putting up the numbers that you put up, and then quickly just flying through the minor leagues. I know it's hard. You didn't make it look hard. Was there a spot where you really were like, okay, I got to be dialed in on another level? Because the numbers, if you just look at the stats, it looks like you just swam upstream very easily. But like, was there a spot where you're like, okay, this is a different beast?
Yeah, there was a spot, and actually sitting right behind me. When I faced Rhett Lauder in the regional, I was like, oh man, like that guy's really good. And, honestly, since that moment on, I think he's probably the best pitcher that I've faced since then.
Makes sense.
And it was just, one of those nights where obviously he's shutting us all out, and it makes it really tough. But, going from there and going through, high A, double A, you have some, unique pitchers, a lot more cutters and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, it's just a baseball, and, all you're trying to do is hit it. So, it's kind of the same game no matter where you go.
Not to get his ego going too much, but what was it that made him tough? Because we were talking a few minutes ago, I was saying how it's like 5 pitches, really, he can kind of put wherever he wants. Was that what made it difficult, because you didn't know what's going to go where? Like, it's kind of hard to game plan for, or was it just the pure stuff?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's hard to game plan for that, having the control over those pitches, but also having pitches that are good. There's plenty of guys that have good control. But, there's not that many guys who have the good control but also have the plus stuff, So just that mixture, obviously is unique in college and definitely still unique in pro ball. There's not that many guys that have 3-4 pitches they can throw for strikes that are plus pitches, and I think that's maybe one of the big differences of the big leagues is, you have guys that do have that 4 or 5 pitch arsenal. So something I look forward to seeing a little more.
You're kind of the hitting version of that, though, because you hit the ball really hard, but you also post really strong contact rates. Is that something that you've always just come natural to you in terms of the contact, and the power came along later, or did you always feel like you were a guy that could pack a punch and then the feel to hit just kept getting better and better?
Yeah, no, I think the contact was always there. Obviously I've grown, I've gotten bigger, I've gotten stronger, and that stuff, and the power is always going to keep developing. But the contact, the eye, the hand-eye stuff like that. I mean, it's just like they say, play other sports, et cetera, et cetera. And that stuff is important, just being athletic. And then obviously the baseball side of things always continues to grow.
Something I noticed with your approach too is, you kind of have a hybrid leg kick where sometimes you let it eat a little bit more, and then sometimes it's a little bit more subdued. I assume that a lot of times it's just how quick a guy is to home plate, whether you're feeling rushed or anything. Is that something that you've always done? And what kind of goes into that for you in terms of how you tweak and adjust that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm sitting a certain pitch in a certain count. So depending on the speed of the pitch, depending on what they're throwing, depending on what I'm sitting on, it's all going to be a different timing and a different leg kick. So
that's really and when did you start doing? Is that something that's always been in your game?
Yeah, just kind of natural. Like it's not really like necessarily a thought. It's more like, hey, this pitch is obviously it's 98, or this pitch is 78. It's just going to be a different timing.
a lot of guys would try to do that and be totally thrown out of whack. So it's something that is pretty impressive to have it come so naturally, and I think is part of the reason probably why you're able to make so much contact so consistently. But you climb those levels, so you're able to see so many different players in this Cubs organization. And I mean, you can tell it's palpable, right? Cubs fans are excited about the talent that's out here right now, and you probably feel it, right? You mentioned Cade Horton. You're sitting right next to him there signing cards. He's one of the best pitching prospects in the game. But you're among several other hitters with so much potential. And Casey's been awesome. There's so many other guys that are so talented. Do you feel like you're just surrounded by just elite talent all the time right now as being part of that Cubs organization?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, like, when I first got here, I didn't realize all the talent. You know, like, I'm only here for a few months, and I didn't really get to know everyone yet. But now that I've kind of been through it, and now spring training's coming around, I'm looking around like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot of really good players, and we really do have a lot of talented guys, guys that are doing really, really well, and it's like kind of an overload. Like there's so much talent in right now, and it's obviously such an exciting time to all of us be around each other, all of us feed off each other. You know, someone like Owen Casey, I've been able to be around all the time now, and yeah, I mean, it's awesome. You know, we're always talking, we're always kind of chatting, kind of giving each other something, you know, to take into each at-bat and stuff like that. So it's been really cool.
Is there someone that you feel like just getting to see them in-game, in action, like in person, where it's like, whoa, you know, it stands out a little bit more? Like, the way Owen can run into baseballs is one of them.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Like Cubs fans are, I would say, from my experience, have been the most knowledgeable and just tapped in. So they probably already would know anything about anybody you name, but I always think it's interesting to hear from a player's perspective, maybe someone that deserves a little bit more shine in the Cubs org.
Yeah, no, I give a shout out to David Bodie, someone who has done it before, but like, you know, just someone who's very comfortable, very consistent at the plate, like always hitting the ball hard, stuff like that. Really, really talented player. Someone I've gotten to watch obviously up close and from afar as well, so it's been cool, but someone who, yeah, definitely deserves some of that light.
Last question for you defensively. You've played kind of all over the place. You know, you're versatile. Also, you look at the big league club, they're loaded, so it's being able to fit in wherever you can fit in. But what's been the focus for you defensively? You know, playing mostly shortstop, and then now playing a little bit all over the infield. Like, what's been the focus for you there, and where do they kind of have you working in, and what's been something that maybe you want to improve on or continue to get better at on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time working on third base because I'd played a lot of short and a lot of second, and to be really versatile, you got to be comfortable at all those positions. And it takes a lot of time. Like, defense is definitely an art, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of reps to get used to that and get comfortable with that. But taking more reps at third base just seemed like the right thing to do. I played second and short in college, and third not so much. So it's been a unique offseason with that, but it's been a lot of fun.
Aside from the throw, what do you feel like is the biggest difference for you adjustment-wise defensively at third?
Yeah, at third, it's just your first step is going to be a little bit different. Like at short, most everything is going to be in front of you. Mm-hmm. There's very few balls that really, truly take you back. But at third base, it's a little different. Like, you just don't have as much time and as much space to work everything in front. You can still try to, but there's going to be balls that have to take you back, and that's just kind of the nature of the position. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's also an area where the range, if it works at short, it'll really show at third. And at the end of the day, if you're swinging it the way you're swinging it, they're going to always find a spot for you. And it's been so awesome to watch you put up the numbers at every single stop. And pumped to see you keep doing it. Thanks so much for the time, Matt.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.